Ready to roll?
Sure.
Okay, let's bring to order the Monday, March 23rd, 2026 meeting of the Jackson County Board of Adjustment. First item on the agenda is roll call.
Pete Fish,
Here.
Daryl DeVore,
Here.
Kate John Hart,
Here.
David Kendall,
Here.
Mike Nicholson.
Here. Okay, next approval of agenda, any additions or corrections? I don't recall, we need a motion to approve the agenda. So moved. Second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay. Agenda is approved. Next, approval of the minutes from the February 23, 2026 board meeting. That's in your packet under draft minutes.
I move we approve the minutes.
Second. We have a motion and second. Any further discussion or questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Okay, minutes are approved. Rules of procedure, consideration of adoption and signing. So I'm sure everybody had a chance to read through these thoroughly.
Yes, so these
Through a half an hour ago.
oh, good, then they're fresh. These also have just been updated to go along with the new zoning ordinance, a little better language, cleanup. Make it easier to use in real life. There were different wording for the election, cleaned that up a little bit. Also in it, it didn't say anything about having to be a Jackson County resident, and that although being an Iowa code qualification, it still doesn't hurt to have it in there. The 2017 said that meetings were set as the second Monday of each month. So we'll change that to reflect the current week. Added the conflict of interest clause and just updated the basic order of business with conduct of meetings, attendance, vacancy, updated the order of the public hearings, and cleaned up the decision making.
Do you have to be just a resident of the county?
Yeah.
What if you're a resident in the city of Macocota?
No,
What? No, what?
no, sorry. Only residents of Jackson County, not any of the cities.
Right. For what?
Could be on the board of adjustment or the zoning commission.
Yeah, if you look at the second paragraph under Article 1. Including eligible electors who reside within Jackson County outside the corporate limits.
How did you say that? Because we had that a couple of years ago, we had a couple on and we had to kick them off.
Yes, and I think, yes, I recall that story, and although it is an Iowa code, it doesn't hurt to spell it out to just make it a quick reference.
Okay, any other notable edits, additions, or retractions?
Do these have to be reviewed by the county attorney before we adopt them?
No, because it goes along with the new zoning ordinance, and they were written by Laura alongside the ordinance. She rewrote the Board of Adjustment and the zoning commission.
Okay, so they were essentially created and sanitized by ECIA.
Yes,
Okay,
and essentially when they were all compiled, it would have gone to the county attorneys at that time.
okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, any other questions, comments? I can't imagine we need to vote on this since they're doing.
Yeah, I would say it doesn't hurt to vote on it.
Okay. Entertain a motion to accept the rules and procedures as written.
So moved.
We have a motion and we have a second.
I'll second.
I'll second. There, any other discussion, comments, edits? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Okay. That is passed, and then I signed this copy on the back. That's
Yep.
probably different. But here it is, so
Yeah.
that we can sign. Takes care of that business. Okay, next, public hearing. You know, the public is kind of missing tonight. On Board of Adjustment Action 26-02 dimensional variance. For Eamon Wengard, request to allow a bedroom bath addition and front porch addition to an existing residence. At that address in Macokota. They're requesting a reduced front setback from the public road and right of way, 40 feet required, approximately 22 feet proposed. Subject to field verification of the right of way lines. Okay. Since we don't have anybody in the audience, there's no one to give us a rundown on what they're trying to do.
There is not. I could go through the staff report.
Okay,
It is a request by Amin Wengard for a dimensional variance from the A1 front yard setback measured from the public road right away line for a bedroom bath addition and porch at 22991 180th Street, Macokota, Perry Township, Section 9. The required front setback is 40 foot. Secondary roads mark the right of way and verify the closest point of the proposed addition. Approximately 27 feet from the right of way, which is a variance of approximately 13 feet. Secondary roads also indicated there are no critical roadway concerns at this location, and environmental health was contacted for interdepartmental review and reported no issues. The board's decision tonight is whether the owner has demonstrated practical difficulties under the ordinance and Iowa code, and whether granting the variance would be consistent with the public interest and the intent of the zoning regulations.
well, the first thing I noticed when I read through the packet is, I went to the photo where it appears that there's a under construction addition
Yes,
already attached to the house.
yes,
Then as I read further. County became aware of the construction and process without an issued zoning permit.
correct.
Notice of violation issued, the applicant agreed to pause work pending BOA action.
Yeah.
So he's asking for a variance after the structure is already up in the air. And he's pausing, waiting for our decision,
Correct.
right? Okay,
Yes, I was made aware of a structure being built. I sent the letter the very next day. They came in, or Aman came in. He has recently moved from the state of Wyoming. Had asked some friends if he needed a building permit in Jackson County, and he was told no. Then he got the letter. He came in, I said, well, you do indeed need a zoning permit. He went back and talked to his friends, and they were like, yes, you need a zoning permit, but not a building permit. So just the language confusion there. So yes, he did stop, and that was at the end of January.
okay,
Paused construction and, also he, after the fact, he felt that the electrical lines were a little close, and he has reached out to get that remedied also. But that's not really a,
And the reason it needs a permit is because it's considered to be residential in an agricultural district, right?
yeah. Yes.
If it was
So it's
strictly
not
agricultural, it would
agricultural,
not
it's not.
require a permit.
In the zoning ordinance, we do, say that from the right of way, that is the, setback they should still follow.
Okay. I visited the site today and everything you say is accurate. There's a unfinished building out there. And the county engineer had the right of way staked and all that, so. It was,
yeah. So if I look a couple pages past that first picture with the construction, you can see an overhead of the right of way. And then with the 22-foot setback.
Yes, and that was when I was doing the beacon measurements before, the secondary roads went out and made the measurement. So there's always a little difference with the
Right.
beacon. Also in the packet is the, concept image that they provided, that's what they were hoping for it to look like. It's the bedroom bath addition that's going to be bumped out the 16 foot, and then the, front porch overhang would be 8 foot.
A question that I have. And this stems perhaps from my newness on this board. Although actually, that probably isn't that big of a deal because we're working under a new act. But the Iowa Practical Difficulties Variance Act, which was effective on July 1st of last year, establishes a new standard for granting dimensional variances, focusing on whether a strict application would cause practical difficulties. And so that gets into the whole question of what is a practical difficulty standard for a dimensional variance? My understanding is that it's got to be unique to the property conditions, meaning the difficulty must arise from specific physical conditions of the land. For example, unusual shape, narrowness, or shallowness, rather than general neighborhood conditions. And it can't be self-imposed, meaning the difficulty can't have been created by the applicant. And then it has to be reasonable use. And it has to be generally in the public interest. I don't see a problem with public interest or reasonable use. I have problems with this being either a unique property condition or being not self-imposed. And I get the fact that these people did not build this house, but they just bought it. I mean, somebody built it in a position where you can't put an addition on to the front of the house. That's the problem I have with this. And I have to say, as a board member, I'm offended, I think is the right word, by the fact that the construction's already started. And then it's on us to be the bad person in saying, you gotta not do this. And I'm trying to set that aside because my being offended by it shouldn't affect the ultimate decision here. But I'm just being candid when I say that.
Well, John, I can't disagree with you when I read this, also, especially the part about he went ahead and did it without getting the right permits. Now that we hear some friends told him it was okay, well, really?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe you need to choose different friends.
Well,
I'm in the same position as John. It puts us in a really tough spot of saying, if we deny this, he's got, several $1,000s worth of material and labor already up in the air, ready to roll. But on the other hand, I look at the location, he's out in the middle of the country, there's nobody on either side even close, but it's property. And what does it really affect? That's the other thing.
I don't disagree with that either. I don't disagree with that either.
I think, that's the other perspective is, hey, if we approve this, is it gonna affect the neighbors? No, they're way too far. Is it gonna affect anybody driving by in the front because they're getting too close to it? No, you still got 22 feet to the right of way, which is still 15 feet from the roadway or whatever the dimension is. So I don't see any safety hazards from this. But I agree with John, it's a little bit annoying that now they're dumping it back on us, make a decision. So my 2 cents worth.
If I can just, I can speak up again. I called Becca this afternoon because this was bothering me and I wanted to find out as much about it as I could. And I was a little bit, I was wondering about the fact that there were multiple people are owning this. And Becca, I don't want to put words into your mouth. So maybe you tell the board what's the relationship between the two people and,
The, Aman and his brother-in-law are co-owners.
okay? And Aman is married, so that's a couple.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're the ones that supposedly are going to be living here.
Yes,
But I asked you who was doing the work, and you said they were, but didn't you say that the brother-in-law is a contractor?
yes, I believe so. Yeah.
I mean, I have a hard time believing that freaking contractor. If he's a professional, how do you not know that you don't need a building permit?
Right. I believe it is a different county.
You know,
Sorry.
I would want to be asking people that show up. Tell me more about this. I mean, do you not, does he not do any work in this county? I don't know. I just have a problem with that. And I also have, the last thing I'll say is that I have a problem precedentially. Because if we approve this, then I would be concerned that in the months that follow, this is presented again by, if not the same people, somebody else saying, well, hey, geez, we already got started, we're already this far. You're not gonna make us go back. You did it. You gave somebody else variance because they already got started. I don't know. I just have problems with this, I guess.
I guess one of the problems I have with it is prior to them changing the law last July, I think. This was pretty much a standard thing that happened to this board. And I remember at least it happening 3 times in my last
Is that right?
5 years here. Number one, people encroaching upon the 40-foot, saying they didn't know it. Number two, starting the work. All different kind of excuses or whatever. And the way the new law is, I hardly see that we'll ever be able to use a variance at all. I mean, it's gonna have to
It's
be,
very difficult.
it's gonna have to be pretty difficult.
I mean, that was my point to start out with. I
Yeah.
agree. I mean, as I read this, I'm thinking,
Now, the new definition of why you need a variance is pretty clear, and it's got several criteria that frankly, none of these are met, here. Now,
If I were them,
yeah,
I would first of all make the county prove they had the right of way. Because maybe the right of way isn't what it is, and maybe the 40-foot might exist from what they truly have as, say, a prescriptive easement. I've had some trouble with this in the last year.
yep, no, I understand what you're saying.
And I got into it with the county and the idea that they could prove an easement out in the middle of nowhere didn't exist, and basically the law said, okay, you have the width of the road and you have the 10 feet you mow and that's it. So, but I don't,
Yeah,
that's a whole nother legal
Right.
challenge.
Beck, I have another question on this, and I do recall somewhere in the new process. When variances that are requested, do not exceed 50% of the standard variance.
Mm.
That something like that wouldn't even come in front of the board
Right.
for approval, would just stop with you. And using the new guidelines that John talked about, really been the first, gauntlet they would have to run is to get it by you.
Correct.
So in this case, why is it coming to us? If that's how it's implemented, how it's supposed to be? That's what I wasn't sure about.
Since it was an already started bill,
Okay,
yeah, a violation.
all right. So had he gone the right course of getting a permit, presenting it to you, then you could have dealt with it head on and said, no, it doesn't meet the criteria that John laid out, so therefore it's gonna be denied.
Right.
And he'd have to go a different route for putting on an addition.
Mhm.
Okay. Well. What do you guys think? Any thoughts, Pete?
Well, I guess to everyone else's point is, yeah, I'm a little offended by it. You started the work. And then you don't have the time to show up to the meeting. I busted my ass to get here today and working late and I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, decision shouldn't be based on that. I guess there's nothing saying that requires them to be here,
I
and we've had this discussion before, but
have, and I guess this is my first, I have not looked up how the procedure is if somebody doesn't attend the meeting. I know it's been tabled before if somebody wasn't here, is that correct?
We've done that in the past. They don't show up and we say, well, we'll table it until they show up.
and again, I share the concerns of, okay, you've already started it. If you hadn't already started it, I don't have a problem with it. He's out in the middle of nowhere, like you said earlier, it's not gonna affect anyone, that it's not a site thing on the road or. You know, the county said, okay, we're not gonna come in and build an interstate, so we're okay with it. But. Okay, you didn't know the rules, that's too bad.
Right,
Especially if he's got a contractor for it.
Yes, that was a piece of
Brother-in-law.
information I found very interesting and
Did you charge him the double amount for the permit or?
well, they don't have a permit yet because it has to go through the Board of Adjustment in order to get a permit.
Will they have to pay double
But
then?
it would be double along with the Board of Adjustment charge. So, yeah, a $75 permit is now $250 plus $150.
And this addition is going to be I forgot, another bedroom or?
She's expecting in May, so it was going to be the primary bedroom, bath, closet, and then I believe it's maybe a 1-bedroom house, then that would be the nursery.
If they keep living there, I mean, I guess I'm maybe just have a suspicious mind, but with a brother-in-law that's a contractor, how do we know that this isn't? They bought the house, they're gonna put on an addition, and they're gonna sell it and move on and do the same thing somewhere else and ask for variance somewhere else. I don't know, again, I'd like to be able to ask questions of the applicant.
Well, John, certainly one of the options we have as board is to table this.
Yeah.
Request until the applicants show up and explain their.
Yeah.
Intent. We've done that before.
Do you have anything on the docket for next month anyway? You expecting anything?
Deadline is Thursday at 4:30.
Okay, so probably not.
Probably not.
You're not aware of it now, you're
No,
probably.
I'm not aware of it.
Well, I would entertain them. I would like to propose that we table this. And pending. I don't want to call it testimony from the applicants, but at least. the
Explanations.
Yeah, what's going on and what's your intent with this? It's a little bit to read between the lines here. And for us reading between the lines right now, we're not feeling very good about it. That's what I'm getting,
Right.
so. Do we need a motion to table it or do we? Probably should.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion, we table this.
Okay, we have a motion to table this, so whatever. This 26-02, I believe it is.
Yep.
Right.
Second.
And a motion and second, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of aye. Same sign for opposed. Okay, it's stable. So you'll get a hold of them to let them know that we still have a lot of questions that need to be answered
They will.
and see what they do.
Yes.
I mean, I feel for, they're a young couple, they're expecting a kid, this would be a nice room to have for a kid coming up, but. On the other hand, yeah, there's. Anytime anybody puts an addition on anything, don't, presence of mind, say, maybe I better check to see if I need some kind of permit.
Yeah,
I mean, if you're building a doghouse, that's one thing, but this is pretty sizable addition to a home.
Yeah.
Plus, you know you're gonna be infringing on the right of way, so.
I guess the other thing I think about this case is, I keep wondering how we get these little lots under 2 acres throughout the county, and they always cause problems sooner or later. Somebody always doesn't have enough room for something, because 2 acres on a road isn't very much,
No, it isn't, and the bigger the house gets, the
you know.
bigger the potential issues,
And
and.
then they wanna build a swimming pool right next to the right of way, is the one we had there.
Right, right.
In the river.
Oh, yes, yeah.
I remember that where you had about
Yeah.
2 foot right, clearance between it and
Mhm.
The federal
the
government.
federal government.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, that took care of that one.
Make it seem like a lot, but in the end, it is a little harder.
All right, well, we took care of BOA 26-02. Any other business tonight, then, Becca?
Just that, if we're tabling this and if they chose to proceed, then the next meeting will be April 27th at 7 p.m. And if I get any other applications by
Okay.
Thursday afternoon.
Okay. Sure. Thanks, guys. The latest news on the crash at LaGuardia. I don't think it's for that. There's, unfortunately, there was a